So, hey kids, remember your old friend GitHub Pages? Wouldn't it be cool to be able to deploy this somewhere? But we can't just do it the way we've done it before. Why not? Well, look at all this mess. This isn't the stuff that belongs on the web server. I'm not pretend you never saw this. This source directory, that's not what's going to get sent to the browser. This includes all our JSX, all our stuff that gets run through Babel. Index.html is buried under this public directory. We don't need all this. This is stuff we need while developing. So for right now, we're using the development server that we start with yarn start, and it's just kind of building everything quietly in the background, running everything through Webpack and Babel and everything else. Look at package.json, and you'll see these scripts down at the bottom. In addition to our dependencies, we see these scripts. Start starts the server. Build, test, eject. Build sounds interesting. Let's see what it does. So with the command line, try yarn build. Creating an optimized production build. Compiled successfully. File sizes after gzip. Okay, it's got main.somehash.js and main.somehash.css. 49K, 1K. The project was built assuming it is hosted at the server root. To override this, specify the homepage in your package.json. For example, add this to build it for GitHub Pages. Oh, how convenient. The build folder is ready to be deployed. You may serve it with a static server. Build folder is ready to be deployed. Behold, the build folder. Wasn't there before. What's in there? Okay, all that favicon nonsense I had you copy. There's index.html. It's got the static folder here. CSS. Okay, I've got one CSS file and a .map file. And one JS file. And js.map. Let's look at this JS file. Oh, neat. Guess what? This is all our code. Not only that, it's all our dependencies. This is all the JavaScript for the entire app. And look at the line numbers. 1. So this is what happens when it runs it through Webpack and Babel and everything. It spits this out. This is all our JavaScript across all those files, smashed into one and minified so that it takes up as little space as possible. And it's all in a single file, so there's only one HTTP request necessary to get it all. So very nice for production, pretty hard to use in development. That .map file in there, that's actually something that should we encounter an error with these, that map file can actually tell us what line the error is really on, as opposed to where it's on in this mess, where everything's on one line. Notice also that output said that's 50K of JavaScript. That's all the stuff we wrote and all of our dependencies that are actually necessary. There's all kinds of crazy stuff in there. React is in there somewhere. React itself, or every part that we included with an import statement. Media, there are all the images, our 2 pings and an SVG, all the ones that we imported. So this build folder contains everything you would copy to a static web server. That's the real site. That's the production build. So if you had a web server and you just wanted to FTP it up there, you would FTP the contents of that build directory. So that's what we want on GitHub Pages. But that sounds like a pain in the neck to manage. Let's reread this output. Project was built assuming it is hosted at the server root. What does that mean? So for example, localhost 3000, not localhost :3000 / something. The server root. If you remember, on GitHub Pages, it's hosted at your username.github.io / the name of your repository, right? That is not the server root. And that's going to be a problem because when it runs it through the build system and it links out to the style sheet and the JavaScript, it'll screw up the path if it doesn't know. It'll make it root relative by default. So we need to specify this. So let's go into package.json. And right under name, I'm going to paste this in. And obviously, I'm going to change it from this fake thing to, and you should be doing this too. Don't change it to mine, change it to yours. XTBC 17s3.github.io /noteherder. Now, the output of this build script seems to be kind of smart. It knew what it was set up to serve from now. It says it's built assuming it's hosted at the server root. So if we run it again, it should probably say something different. So let's run it again. Yarn build. It does say something different. Scroll up a bit. The project was built assuming it is hosted at /noteherder. You can control this with the homepage field in your package.json. And it recognized that we used a GitHub Pages URL. Look, because it says, the build folder is ready to be deployed. To publish it at that URL, run yarn add --dev gh pages. So what does that do? Yarn add is how we add a new dependency. npm install, same thing with npm. --dev makes it a dev dependency as opposed to a regular dependency. GH pages is the name of the package. Let's run it.
Okay, so what did you run to pull that up?
The deploy script, yarn deploy. Build. Yarn build. Yeah, getting ahead of myself. So let's run this yarn add --dev gh pages. So yarn add does two things. It downloads it and puts it in your node modules folder, and it updates package.json so it is listed among your dependencies. So look at package.json now, and under dev dependencies we have gh pages. Wasn't there before. Dev dependencies versus dependencies. So the gh pages scripts are not needed to actually run this site. They're just something we use during development. So if you deploy this, you don't need to bother installing GH pages on the server. So it's under dev dependencies. Okay, so we did that, but it wanted us to do some other stuff too. Add the following script in your package.json. So at the bottom, remember, there's the scripts section. So it wants us to add pre-deploy and deploy. So copy those, add a comma after eject here, and paste these in. Pre-deploy and deploy. Now, when you run a script with npm or yarn, if there's another one named the same thing with pre in front of it, it'll run that first. So anytime we run yarn deploy, it'll run pre-deploy automatically, which runs build. So if we run the deploy script, we don't have to remember to build it first. So it's going to regenerate that directory. Okay, so we pasted that in, saved my changes, and it says then run yarn run deploy. Okay, yarn run deploy. I can see that it's running build again. That's done. And now it's running GH Pages -D build. Published, it says. So it should be published here, right? Copy and paste that into my browser. Behold. Note herder in all its glory. Tappity tappity, tappity tap. It works. Yay. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to copy that URL, go to my GitHub repository, edit the website, paste it in the website field here, save it. Please do that. Remember, we're going to check your stuff out tomorrow. It's helpful if we can see it running. Yeah. In npm. You should be copying that out of the output of build, though. So if you have this home page value in your package.json, when you run build, it should tell you what to add. Add GitHub Pages deploy script.